This conference will now be recorded.
We'll start in a couple of minutes, guys. I'm waiting for everyone to join. Please do expect some delays in the first couple of sessions because we need to follow up for other folks to join. Okay, but meanwhile, we can introduce ourselves. Okay, so before we do that, anyone who are joining today, who are not part of my demo and joining today?
Hi Suresh, this is Utkarsh. I've joined today.
Hi, Utkarsh.
Hello.
I joined today.
Who's that? Shreyas. Okay. So let's introduce each other, guys, before we get started. So I'm looking for your introduction. This is what I'm exactly looking for. Your name, your experience, and the technology you're working on. Okay. So something like this: name, and then experience in years, and then current role or current technology. Something like this. You can use your chat window to introduce yourself to others, and I'll introduce myself at the end. I'll be waiting for your responses, guys. Utkarsh, 12 years DevOps, wow. Rajkumar, BTech MBA area sales manager. And just in case if you are a fresher, just ping your name and then you are a fresher. Okay, Rajkumar, fresher. Shreyas, fresher. Okay, hi Shreyas. Hi Rajkumar and hi Utkarsh. Others, I'm waiting for your response. Amrita, student, great. Hi Amrita. Revant, fresher. Hi Revant. Hitesh, hi, sorry, okay, Hitesh. Hi, Hitesh, pressure. What about others? I'm waiting for your response. Hi, Shreyas, fresher. Mahi, fresher. Hi, Mahi. Cool. So let me introduce myself. My name is Suresh, and I'll be your trainer for Python. I have close to 9 years of experience, guys, as a data engineer. So I'm coming from a data background. I have been working as a Hadoop developer, Spark developer, and right now the same role is what we refer to as data engineer. I have some exposure to data science and Power BI as well. I mean business intelligence. Okay, so I predominantly work on Microsoft and GCP stack, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. Okay, which are two leading cloud providers apart from AWS. Okay, and in my 9 years of experience, I have been involved in developing data related solutions for across multiple domains. I'll be sharing my experiences during our course, like what are the solutions we have built, and how we were able to productionize them, and I mean how Python was able to help us in building these solutions. I'm going to explain you. Might not be today, but over a period of time when I mean when we are going through our course. Okay. So coming to my Python experience, I have been working on Python from almost 5 years from 5 years now. Okay. And predominantly I use Python for developing data engineering applications. We call that component as PySpark. Okay. So I know most of you have been part of my demo, right? But there are few folks who are joining for this session. Okay, so a couple of pointers, guys. One thing, there will be almost 50 to 60% overlap of what we have discussed in the demo. I'll not be walking you through the course content and all, right? So you can get the course content from your consultant. Okay, so they'll be sharing the course content, what I'm going to discuss for next 5 6 weeks. Okay, and then there are few things which we have discussed, that won't be repeated again, not related to Python though, right? But like I said, that there will be 50% overlap. What are the concepts I have taught on Python will be repeated today. Okay, so, and again, talking about my training experience, I train folks on a couple of courses. One is data engineering course where I teach, data related technologies on a cloud platform, Azure. Okay, and I also teach Python. I have been training Python since 3 years. Okay, so that's a brief introduction about me. Now, there are few do's and don'ts in my session, guys. So first thing, our session timings is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. So I usually start session at 8:05 p.m. no matter what. Okay, because I respect the time of folks who joined on time. Okay, so 8:05 p.m. I will be starting the session, and you will be getting the recordings right after the session. Okay, so what are the recording? What are the session I have taught? So it would be recorded, and those recordings would be uploaded to Google Drive, and that link will be shared with you. Okay, so you will get the recording links. So for example, you are 15-minute or 20-minute, you have joined 15-20 minute delay to the session. That's fine. Just go through the session, and then probably you can go through the recording once the session is completed. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, and like I said, the session will be recorded, so I would request you to refrain from unmuting yourself, okay, until and unless it is really necessary. Okay, so try to use the chat window as much as possible, so that we'll not have a lot of discussions going on in the recording. Okay, and like I said, you are free to unmute yourself, guys, but I would request you, only if you are not able to convey your question by chat window, unmute yourself. And next point, I would also recommend you to join using web laptop. Okay, so I'm not a mobile guy, at least for learning. So the reason being, I want you guys to be interactive. Okay, and you might not be knowing answers for a few questions whatever I'm asking, so you can refer to Google, like I said, you are always allowed to refer Google in my sessions because I'm not testing your knowledge, but I'm trying to make you interactive. So whenever I have asked for a question, you can just Google it and then ping me the answer. Okay. So that's one reason. And the second reason, sometimes I might ask you to, do some coding. Okay. So again, I'm not expecting you to give me the complete solution, but I just want to look at your approach. Okay. So again, in these scenarios, right, joining from a laptop would always help you. I don't recommend you joining from a mobile. Again, I don't stop you from doing that, but you will be at loss because the people who join from laptop will be practicing something and you'll not get the same chance. Okay. And yeah, try to acknowledge as much as possible, guys, whenever I have asked for, because this is an online session. I'll not be able to look at your faces to interpret whether you understood a topic or not. So for me to move on confidently, I would need your support. So whenever I have asked for an acknowledgement, please acknowledge yes, no, maybe. Okay. Are you with me so far? Yes, no, maybe. Perfect. I expect the same response during the sessions as well. Okay. And the most important thing, you know, uh, I don't know how much you're paying for this course. That's not really important to me. But what is really important to me is the time you are investing in this course. Okay. So for example, this course, I mean, the scheduled duration of this course is close to 40 hours. Okay, 30 to 40, 35 to 40 hours, I would say. Okay, so please try to make most of it, guys, because spending 30 hours from your life to learn something new is not easy. Okay, so you have taken a step to do that. I respect your time and I'll give you the best from my side. Okay, and try to make the most of it. You have any questions, you stop me, make your doubts clarified, and only then we can move forward. Okay, like I said, you don't need to shy away, guys. We have a lot of freshers and we have a couple of experienced folks too, but every one of you are freshers to me. I'll be treating you as a fresher. It doesn't really matter if you have 20, 25 years of experience. I don't care. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now we'll start with a simple definition. What exactly is a program, guys? Python is a programming language. So let's start with the definition of a program. So what is a program? What do you think about a program? Set of instructions for the computer to complete a task. Sounds great. What else? What else you can think of? Yes, like a couple of our participants have answered. A program is nothing but a set of instructions which we pass on to computer to get a task done. I repeat, a program is nothing but the set of instructions which we pass on to the computer to get a task done. Okay, your computer is not self-intelligent, guys. Your computer is not self-intelligent. Your computer cannot do everything by itself. Your computer cannot just play a Bahubali movie until and unless you instructed it to do it. Okay, so it is capable enough to do it, but it will not be doing it by itself. Your computer cannot think like, dude, I'm bored now, I'm gonna go and watch Bahubali movie. No, definitely that's not going to happen. So it's going to be you who will have to pass on that instructions to your computer. Okay, so how do you do it? Using a program. Okay, so how do you give those set of instructions? A program is nothing but a set of instructions, agreed, but how do you provide those set of instructions using a programming language? Using a programming language. Okay, so a programming language will provide you a means to pass on your set of instructions to get a task done to the computer. As simple as that. Okay. Now talking about programming languages, we have a lot of programming languages, guys. We have low-level languages like COBOL. We have high-level languages like C, C++, Java, Python, Scala, Golang. Okay. So a lot of new programming languages are coming up these days, right? So these are the programming languages using which we can pass on our set of instructions to the computer to get a task done. As simple as that. Now, Python. So in our course, we are going to learn Python 3. Okay. And the inventor of Python is James Gosling. The inventor of Python, he is the guy who invented Python. And the current task, the current version of Python we are going to learn is Python 3. So maybe you want to install something in your laptop, you should be looking for Python 3 because there is a lot of differences between its previous version and Python 3. The previous version to Python 3 is Python 2.7. The most stable version, Python 2.7. Okay, so but we will not be using Python 2.7. Instead, we'll use Python 3, which is the latest version of Python, right? And like I said, the inventor of Python is James Gosling. Okay. Now, so Python is a programming language, and all the programming languages can be categorized into different types, guys. We'll talk about those categorizations next, and then we'll try to understand the basics of a programming language. Okay, so we'll start with the first classification, low-level programming languages versus low-level programming languages versus high-level programming languages. Any idea? Any idea? Yes, no, maybe. Like I said, you are free to use Google. Low level language, zeros and ones, high level language, English language, maybe. Okay. That is some answer for sure. Like I said, if you don't want to ping it to everyone, you can select me and ping it privately to me. Okay, let me tell you. So talking about low level language and high level language, right? So low level language is a machine understandable language. Low level language is a machine and understandable language. Yes, machine friendly languages. Correct. Okay. So we call this as machine understandable, or like one of our participant have pinged machine compatible languages or machine comfortable languages, machine friendly. And high level languages is human understandable languages. And also one of our participants have pinged low level is equals to 0 and 1 and high level is equals to English language, maybe. Yeah, to some extent. Let me explain. So if you admire your computer saying that my machine is amazing, will your computer be able to understand that? A small guess? Yes, no, maybe? Correct. Like most of you said, answer is no. Okay, because your computer can understand only zeros and ones, guys. Not just your computer, any computer can understand only zeros and ones. It will not be able to understand whatever we are talking, and will not be able to understand zeros and ones. We will be able to understand, the combination of numbers and characters. Combination of numbers and characters. I don't want to call it as English, but the combination of numbers and characters. Maybe some special characters too. Numbers, alphabets, and some special characters too. That is what we can understand, or else whatever you see on your keyboard is what we can understand. Okay, but your computer will not be able to understand whatever you see on your keyboard. It will be able to understand only zeros and ones. Okay, now so there will be some components which would be acting as a bridge between both of us. There will be some components which will be acting as a bridge between both of us. Okay, so whatever we type on keyboard will be converted to whatever your computer can understand, and whatever your computer would give you as output will be converted to what you can understand. Okay, so these components are what we call as compilers. Okay, so we'll talk about that at a later point in time. But yes, human understandable languages are what we refer to as high level languages like C, C++, Java, Python, Scala, whatnot. Okay, these are the different programming languages which can be understandable by the human beings, and can pass on the instructions as required. Pass on the instructions as required. Okay, and low level languages need not be zeros and ones, or could be zeros and ones, but these are the machine level instructions, I would call them as. Okay, assembly language. Okay, so they won't be like your typical C, C++ or Java, but they are at a mission level language or assembly language. Okay, so one example of low level languages are COBOL. So obviously low level languages are faster. The reason being, there won't be this conversion step. There won't be this conversion step. Okay, conversion from human understandable to machine understandable. Since those languages are directly understood by the computers, by your computers, they will be directly executed. But when it comes to high level languages like Python, Java, Scala, C, C++, there will be one additional conversion step, guys. There will be one additional conversion step, and that step is what we call as compilation. That step is what we call as compilation. Okay, and the compilers are the components which does that job for us. Compilers are the components which does that job for us. So these compilers, right, would take instructions from us, whatever we give from our keyboard, and would convert them to the format that is understandable by your computer. The format that is understandable by your computer. Okay. Now let me take a pause. Are we good so far, everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Are we good so far? Comfortable? Excellent. So Python is a high level language. That's the conclusion I want to jump onto. Okay. Now let me ask you one more question, guys. How many of you are from computer science background or know what happens with the computers internally? There are few new folks attended. Just a heads up for you guys. We just started 15 minutes ago. If you have attended my demos, whatever we have discussed so far is just a repetition. Okay, so we just started with what exactly a program and a programming language is, and we have completed discussing what exactly a low-level language and high-level languages are. Okay, and then what a compiler actually does. Okay, so this is what we have discussed so far. If you are part of my demo, you haven't missed anything. But if you are not part of my demo, you might have missed something. But you can. These are pretty basics. Nothing really important. You can go back to the recording at any point in time and get back to me if you have any queries. Does that make sense, everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Perfect. Now, whatever we are gonna discuss for next 15-20 minutes has nothing to do with any programming language, guys. Just a generic concept, but that would literally help us to write a better code if you could understand it right from the day one. Okay, let me connect my notepad. I mean, this one. One moment. Okay. So the key components of any computer is this, guys: RAM, processor, and then hard disk. Okay. So RAM is also referred to as memory. RAM is also referred to as memory. And then hard disk is also referred to as storage. And then processor is also referred to as compute. Okay. Now we need to understand few things. What are the software you are running in your computer? Right now I'm using GoToMeeting, and simultaneously I'm running my Edge browser, Microsoft Edge. I'm running File Explorer, I'm running Google Chrome, I'm running Notepad, Notepad++, Word document, and then Excel, PyCharm, MySQL, Power BI, and GoToMeeting. So all these are softwares, right? So what exactly a software is? So you keep calling something as a software. So what exactly a software is, according to you? For me, a software is nothing but a program. Software is nothing but a program. So when I mean by a program, nothing but a set of instructions. Okay, and these set of instructions are abstracted by a beautiful UI. These set of instructions are abstracted by a beautiful UI. So for example, in this notepad, if I'm doing a control H operation, find and replace operation. Okay, so I'll have to click on edit and then check the window where I'll get the find and replace window. I'll have to enter the text which I want to find. I have to enter the text which I want to replace, and then click on replace. Then it will be replacing all the functions which is matching my this string with this one. Okay, so this is what typically find and replace does. Okay, so when this is happening, some program is running in the backend, or some instructions are being given to your computer to do this particular functionality. Are you agree? Do you agree with me? Yes, no, maybe. The same is the case with VLC media player. Let's say you all are familiar with a VLC media player. If not VLC media player, some media player. It could be Windows media player. It could be whatever the media player, MKV media player, whatever it is. Let's say you want to watch a .mp4, you want to watch a movie, so you'll have to pay either you have to play either .mp4 or .mkv, or there are different extensions for a video file. Okay, so whenever you want to do this, let's say I'm using a VLC media player. Now there is a VLC media player, and then you'll see some controls over here like play, pause, fast forward, and then reverse, and then volume. Okay, some volume button where you can increase or decrease, and then here you'll have some options like file, settings, so on and so forth. Okay, so whenever this is running, again some set of instructions will be passed on to your computer to get the task done. Here our task is to play this MP4 file or a MKV file. There are a lot of other formats too. Okay, but for example, I'm taking these couple of extensions as an example. Okay, let's say I have hit this pause button. So some code would be executed in the backend which would pause playing these files. If I do fast forward, some code would be executed in the backend to fast forward this particular file. Or if I increase the volume, some code would be executed in the backend which would increase the volume, so on and so forth. Okay, are we on the same page, everyone? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, now where are these set of instructions getting executed, guys? These are getting executed in the course of your processor. Let's say this is your processor, and any processor will have something called as cores. 1, 2, 3, 4. It depends on what processor you are using. For example, in my case, I'm using i5. For i5, we have 4 cores. We have 4 cores. Okay, so even in your mobile phones you'll be having cores where your actual processors will run. Okay, whenever you are purchasing a new mobile, you will be looking at the configurations, right? Quad core processor, octa core processor, or dual core processor. So the exact meaning is it have those number of cores. Okay, so these cores are the place where your program will get executed. You run any software, the program corresponding to that software will be executed in one or the other core in your processor, guys. Okay, so that is the reason the more cores you have, the more efficient your system will be, or the more faster. Okay, so you might ask me a question, boss. You said you are using i5 and you have 4 cores, but in your system, I can see a lot of apps open. Microsoft Edge, file browser, Google Chrome, Notepad, Notepad++, so on and so forth. How is this possible? If we have 4 cores, you should be running only 4 processors, right? Now, that is when this comes into picture: scheduling, OS scheduling, operating systems. Okay, so or you can also call it as resource allocation. Okay, so before we jump on to resource allocation, I just want to talk about one more thing, and then you have another important component called RAM. Whatever the data that is required for executing this code is stored in RAM. Okay, so for example, you are watching a movie, so your movie file would be loaded into the RAM, and the processing of this movie will happen in the processor, one of the processor cores. Okay, now when I say resources are nothing but your RAM and the processor together is what we call as resources. Okay, let's say I have 8 applications running in my machine. There are multiple scheduling algorithms supported by your operating system. I will pick up the easiest of them, round robin. So round robin is one algorithm which would be allocating all the resources to these applications. Say for example, 8 applications are running in my machine. It will give resources to application 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, so on and so forth. Okay, so a simple question to you guys. Say for example, you have given your mobile maybe to some kid in your home, and then let's assume he's playing a Subway Surfer game, and the moment he saw Subway Surfer lagging, so what is the first thing he will do? what is the first thing he will do?
We'll clear the RAM.
As simple as that. So it's not just RAM, but all the processes would be removed from your processor too. Basically, you are freeing up your resources. You are actually freeing up your resources so that all the resources would be allocated to only one game, Subway Surfers, so that he can play it fluently, okay, without any lags. Same applies here as well, guys. Okay, you open a lot of resources. If your processor is capable enough to handle them, you will not be observing that lag. Okay, but if your processor is small, say for example, can I run the same number of applications using dual core? I see a lot of folks are freshers, which means you are the latest generation. Maybe the least processor you must have seen is i3. But I came from 90s generation, guys, 1990s generation. Okay, so I have worked with Core to Duo processor, Intel dual core processor. Okay, I still remember the pain of playing a road rash game on Core to Duo processor. Okay, maybe you might be playing some high resolution games using your i5 processor, but I still remember the pain of playing road rash game. If you see some YouTube videos, you will be seeing road rash game. It's not that graphically great, but still computer used to hang when we used to play that game continuously. Okay, so if your processor is capable enough, uh, it will be a different thing, guys. But if your processor is not capable enough, it won't be that great. Okay, guys, just give me a second. Yeah, sorry, guys, I'm back. So if your processor is not capable enough, you will not be able to run multiple applications. Now, just try to understand the individual responsibilities of RAM and the processor. To run more applications, you need big processor with more cores. But if your intention is to run large files, then you will need huge RAM. Okay, so without a decent amount of RAM, there is no point in having a lot of cores, and vice versa, guys. Without your processor capability, there is no point in having huge RAM. So 32 GB RAM with i3 doesn't make any sense to me. As simple as that. And similarly, 4 GB RAM with i7 processor doesn't make any sense to me. In both these cases, one of these components are underutilized. Okay. Now you might think, why do you need to understand all these things? Okay. So I would, with this explanation, I would bring up a couple of terms called time complexity and space complexity. Have you ever heard of these terms? Time complexity and space complexity. Anyone from a computer science background or anyone aspiring for a product company like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Okay. So to clear those interviews, we will need something called as DSA, data structures and algorithms. Okay. So when we talk about these data structures and algorithms, they'll be asking a lot of questions on time complexity and space complexity. Okay. So it is a mystery for a lot of folks even today. To be very honest, even for me, I'm from a computer science background. Till I complete my bachelor's, these two terms are like aliens to me. Okay, not just that. Even after completing 2-3 years in the IT industry, I never really got a chance to understand what exactly these two terms are. Okay, but it's pretty simple if you understand whatever we have discussed till now. Okay, so the time complexity would define how efficient your code is while getting executed in the processor. So how much time it is taking, or how much time it is anticipated to take. Okay, and talking about space complexity, how efficient is your code in terms of occupying space in RAM? Okay, so whether it is taking too much of space, or whether it is taking only the less space. Okay, so space complexity and time complexity would give you the performance of your code in terms of how much space it has occupied in RAM and how much time it is running in your processor. So basically, uh, let's say you have let's say I have implemented a software, guys. Maybe I have implemented a, okay, forget about my software too. So let's talk about Internet Explorer versus Chrome, Google Chrome. How many of you are using Google Chrome? Okay, that's a wrong question. How many of you are using Internet Explorer? How many of you are using Internet Explorer? Yeah, I know now it's no more, but let me reframe my question. How many of you have used Internet Explorer? Yeah, RIP. Okay, so that's a good answer. Used in the past when no Chrome. Okay, now let me ask you another question, guys. Because most of you are using Google Chrome, so why Google Chrome? Why not Explorer? So why you have stopped using Explorer? Better in terms of, there you go, performance, look, speed, whatnot. Speed. Okay, so speed is the parameter. So Google Chrome performs way better than Internet Explorer, guys. Okay, so whenever you are launching some product into the market, it has to be most efficient in terms of performance, be it the space it is consuming from RAM, and or be it the time it is spending in the processor. Spending in the processor. Okay, so we are not doing a comparison between browser stress, but I just want to tell you why this time complexity and space complexity is important. So that is the reason all the product companies give a lot of emphasis on data structures, algorithms, and time complexity and space complexity. You want to crack those interviews, you'll have to master these things, because you will be developing a new product, and whatever the code you are writing to develop that product should be the most efficient in terms of space that is using in RAM, and the time it is spending in the processor. As simple as that. Hope now everyone is able to understand why product companies are paying a lot of importance for data structures and algorithms, because they want you to use the best in the lot. Agreed? Yes, no, maybe. Agreed? And also, let me tell you something, guys. So with this discussion, don't expect me to teach you something using which you will be able to crack Google or Microsoft interview. I'm so sorry about that, but let's be realistic. Okay, so right after my course, you'll not be able to crack Google or Yahoo interviews, sorry, Google or Amazon interviews. Okay, but you will get some good knowledge on Python. And as much as possible, I'll try to give you the best practices in terms of developing the application. Make sense? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so we'll stop here, guys. First couple of days you'll have to bear with me. We will go at a slow pace, maybe tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay, because there will be a lot of disturbances, people joining in and then people leaving, right? But first couple of sessions, it will be maybe tomorrow session mostly, or if required, maybe day after tomorrow session. But from Friday, we will go at good pace. Okay. And in the beginning, I'll be little slow because most of you are freshers. I do understand. I cannot go at my pace, but I will promise you by the end of second week or third week, I'll get you to my pace, provided you follow my instructions. Okay. Now let me take a pause here and address your questions if you have any. So there are few new joinees today. Welcome to the session, guys, and the people who joined little late. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them. Else, I'll give you back your 8 minutes of your time. RAM and course again. So RAM is memory buddy. So RAM doesn't execute your code, but instead RAM will store the data that is required for executing your code. So for example, the code corresponding to VLC media player would be executed in processor core, and your MP4 file which is getting executed will be in RAM. Make sense? Perfect. Any other questions? For administrative related questions, I'm not the guy. Probably your consultant would be the right person to answer it. But anything related to the course, you can feel free and let me know. Cool. Then thank you. Thank you so much for your time. We'll meet same time again tomorrow, 8 p.m. IST. Okay. Till then, have a good day and a good night for folks who are joining from India. Happy learning.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries, Utkarsh.
Hey Suresh, this is Kiranmay again. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to confirm, so what was the timing of the course? I
8
came
p.m.
to
to
know
9 p.m. IST, Kiranmay.
8 p.m. CST. Got it.
8 p.m. IST. IST.
8 p.m. IST.
Yes.
IST. Okay, got it. I just came to know like it's only half an hour session or 1 hour. I just joined in
Class
10 a.m.
started at 8.
CST. I'm
It
sorry.
started at
Hello.
right now the time is 8:55.
Okay.
Okay, so it will be from 8 p.m. IST to 9 p.m. IST. It's not half an hour session. If I teach half
Oh,
an hour, it will take 4 months to complete the course.
I'm so sorry about this because I came to know like at 10 a.m. like CST, so I just joined lately. Maybe I guess like half an hour late. Okay, got it.
No worries. I mean, today I have discussed very basics. You can just go through the recording and let me know if you have any questions, and we can hop onto a call and then I'll be addressing them.
Okay, sure, definitely. I just have a quick question. So you would be providing the material as well as the installation of the any application. So we simultaneously we do practice the applications, right?
I'll be guiding you, Kiranmay. I'll not be doing it in a typical academic way, but
Uh-huh.
I treat this as a industrial training
Okay,
or
gotcha.
a corporate training thing. So basically, I'll be mentoring you. I'll not be hand holding you. I'll be teaching all the concepts, and you will get the recording. And what
Mm-hmm.
are the codes? What are the examples I'm teaching you in the session? They'll be uploaded to Google Drive, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be providing you with the links using which you
Okay.
can practice. Say, for example, I would encourage you to go and participate in some, competitive platforms
Mm-hmm.
like HackerRank or HackerEarth or LeetCode. Again, I'll not be suggesting you to go with every single problem present in that platform, but at least the ones with easy and medium hardness. And then I'll be providing you with all the links where you can get more examples. I'm not running away, but if you have any questions, you can get back to me. We can definitely hop onto your call and we'll be addressing them.
Okay, gotcha. If we do any like applications on like coding or anything else on applications, so do you review on that? Do you have any
Anything
accessibility?
related to anything related to the course? Yes. Anything related to your job? No.
Well, I'm not checking with the job anyway, but I'm asking related to questions on codes. Yeah, that's fine.
Definitely, Kiranmay. I mean, because there is every chance that you will be stuck, and I'll be more than happy to help you out because you are at least trying something.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take it.
The
Bye bye.
reason why I have emphasized this is it happened in the past for us. People who just shifted to Python development, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get back to me asking the questions from their projects. I mean, questions and solving those issues is fine, but I cannot sit and do the coding.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay then. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Take it. Bye bye.
yeah, sure, Kiran.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good night and good morning.
Thank
Sorry, have a good day for
you.
folks joining from US.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you.